Charybdis. Sensually sated and feeling better about not being someone I am not, someone I perceive to be better at being human than I am, I decide to leave Ahmedabad on a high note. I depart the next morning for the tiny island of Diu, a former Portuguese colony off the peninsular west coast of India. Because of its size and the fact there's really no traffic to speak of, I decide to rent a scooter and go exploring. The experience of being in traffic is so harrowing in most of India that I usually just take rickshaws or walk. Also, due to the Brits, they drive on the left, which adds just too many points to the hazard scale. Traveling in India is difficult. Roads are noisy and dangerous, and it takes a long time to get anywhere. Whether you're on a train, a bus, or a rickshaw, it's crowded, uncomfortable, smelly, or all three. Maybe that has something to do with why I'm becoming a little cranky, but it's not the only thing. My disenchantment seems to grow a little every day, even though I'm trying hard to stave it off with daily gratitude exercises. I mean, look at me. I'm traveling in exotic locations. I've got no real obligations or responsibilities. I'm on a largely forgotten island in the Arabian Sea, riding a scooter in a t-shirt, a longi, and sandals. The sun's shining, my room is paid for, and the wind is literally in my hair. Even with all these things to be thankful for, much of the freedom and exhilaration I felt when I landed in Praganj has disappeared. I'm not sure where it went. It could be the constant vigilance against scams and pleas for money, or the increasing sense of purposelessness I feel. Whatever it is, I resolve to train my mind to think differently. Maybe my sense of freedom has escaped the mainland too, and it's somewhere on this island waiting for me. Maybe it came here just so I'd follow it. Maybe it has a plan. I decide it's the only way to know for sure to go in search of it. I drive around a while on my rented scooter until I find a giant fort from the Portuguese days. It's overgrown with grass and weeds, entirely without caretakers or admission fees, or any protective railings for its open stone stairs, some of which lead to the top of its 50 feet high walls. I decide there must not be any personal injury lawyers in India. It seems to be a culture steeped in throwing caution to the wind. Everywhere I watch locals ride four to a scooter. Dad drives, small child stands up front between dad's legs, and mom sits side saddle on the back holding the baby. I go inside the fort and start walking around and through its overgrown foliage. I climb up its giant steps and walk its high walls, despite the danger that a strong wind could easily topple me into an abrupt rocky end. I am exploring its former rooms, half walls without ceilings, when I turn a corner to find what looks to be three drunk locals hanging out there. One of them, a big slovenly looking man, quickly stands up and starts walking over to me, speaking words I can't understand. So far in India, I've been annoyed, scammed, and inconvenienced, but never scared. But as the big disheveled man runs in my direction, his wild eyes fixed on me, I start to panic. I try to remain calm. I just smile and put up my hand in what I hope is a friendly gesture of, "Oh, hello, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll be going back the other way now, don't mind me." And immediately I turn and head in the opposite direction. I'm not great with directions when I'm not paying close attention, and since I was just wandering, thinking I was the only person here, I can't remember exactly where the entrance is. As I'm retreating briskly, but still resisting the urge to run, I hear the man's voice and his footsteps coming up behind me. I'm trying not to think about how utterly alone I am here, about how I didn't see another person, car, or camel anywhere close to this fort, but I can't help it. Fuck, that's all I can come up to say to myself. Meanwhile, the drunk man is so close behind me now, I can smell his sour breath. Fearing I'm about to feel his hand on my shoulder, I turn and put up my own hand again. It's the same basic gesture, but this time it's a stop sign, not a hello. I haven't picked up enough Hindi to try to talk to him, so all I can think to say is no. It is enough though. He stops dead and then looks back at his companions who are following at a distance. He repeats my command to them, no. They all start bending over laughing. I'm embarrassed, but use the pause to make my exit as quick as I can. Outside, I jump on the scooter, turn the key, and take off without looking back to see if they're following. Of course, it's possible I've overreacted to their advances, But then again, what if I didn't? I decide that for the rest of the day, I'll stick to exploring sites that are out in the open. The island is not much of a tourist destination and is comprised almost entirely of locals. There are a few small villages to the west, a couple of public beaches to the south, a great deal of agricultural land and salt plains in the middle, and not much else. The guest houses that are here are confined to the easternmost end of the island and the tiny town of Diu, and they mostly cater to backpackers, which is exactly why I decided to come here. There is clean air, open roads, and no tourist traps. Life is good. Motoring up a small hill while coming back to the guest house from a visit to a mostly deserted beach just about half an hour before sunset, my scooter breaks down. Okay, smarty pants, what you gonna do now, Mr. Hotshot Third World Traveler? Well, I guess I'm gonna start walking this broken scooter back in the direction of the guest house and hope I don't get eaten by a pack of wild dogs. As I'm doing just that, two young men are heading the opposite way. They see me walking the bike and stop to investigate. They apparently speak no English, so we communicate by hand gestures and by smiles. One of them waits with me while the other goes to gather some tools. He returns, fixes the bike in less than 10 minutes, and though I thank him profusely, he refuses to take any money for the repair. Maybe this is the thing I've been looking for. Maybe it wasn't a person, an idea, or a thing, but a place. Or maybe not. The next day is New Year's Eve. During the day, I wander the streets I haven't seen, go to the beach with some other backpackers, and take a short nap. At night, there's a party and there's music. There is dancing, there is a girl, and there is bang chocolate. I have my own room, and we go there together. And still I blow it. Somehow, the two of us happy and naked in the dark on New Year's Eve. And I panic, and I back off. And we both spend what should have been a glorious night uncomfortably inhabiting the same room. And the next day, I walk away, and I don't look back, because I usually don't. And I'm an idiot, but I'm a free idiot, without any strings, without obligation, without love. The barn door is wide open, and one thing I know how to do is run, all the way to India, and then some.